we're going to get anything done is to get everyone involved. And that goes for all of you. It's time to get involved.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Sledge, the People's Champ, checking in, and this is This One For Us podcast. We on episode 3, and I got some guests right now that's going to talk to us about education and what do they do in their respective fields. So let's get started. How important is education to you?
A top priority. Honestly, like just number one. When you think about education, I mean, beyond just like academics, but also just from social, emotional, all that kind of stuff. So education is very, very, very important.
You teach in Columbus City Schools.
Columbus City Schools.
And what grade do you teach?
So right now I am working in a multiple disabilities room.
MD unit.
MD unit. Been doing that for about 11 years now. And I'm actually back in school, getting another licensure so I can be within intervention specialists.
Awesome.
Mild to moderate, because I don't want to deal with too many high-risk folk. But
Nah, I get it.
I've done enough of that.
What made you want to do MD?
To be honest, I didn't know if I wanted to. But I think the big thing for me was it was more so the age. And being right now I'm elementary and seeing, I feel like in elementary, that's like the perfect opportunity to like mold and like really provide not necessarily guidance, but kind of set them up for where they're going next. So, with MD, you have IEPs and all that stuff, and they handle the post-secondary stuff. Right. But with like elementary in particular in MD, like the perfect opportunity to like catch them in certain life skills, just their basic things like that they do in life. Like that's the perfect time to catch them, mold them, get them not necessarily reaching like normalcy or anything like that, because whatever, that's just a myth. Ain't nobody normal around here. But just get them prepared for society, like how I would view it, you know what I'm saying, in education and just life in general.
Steve, you in elementary too, correct?
Yeah.
So you in elementary school. What grade do you teach?
I teach kindergarten and first combined.
Kindergarten and first combined? How many kids you got in your class?
I only have 8, but it's a special needs school, so they try to limit our class sizes. But I'm at the max right now that we can have.
So you at 8 and at the max. So you say you do kindergarten and first grade, but you also do stuff with kids with music, correct?
Yeah. I actually created a children's music business called Lit Learners, and basically it takes like I started it because you feel me. I had little kids inside the school. At the end of the day, like we always do music, but like when parents will be late, I'm like, okay, we'll just play whatever song. What song do you want to listen to? What song do you listen to at home? And one of his little kids, he said, Mr. Steve, can you play Murder on My Mind? I was like, what? You feel me? And the thing was, he sang it word for word. Oh. And then his teacher, she was like, that's a shame. Her name Miss Mary. She's like my 30-year OG as a teacher, so she gave me a lot of game. But she was like, that's a shame. He know all that, but he doesn't even know the first letter in his name. She was like, Malachi, what's your name start with? And he was real life stuck. So like from there, it showed like me that the children, they're learning a lot. They can pick up a lot, but if they don't know, you feel me? If it's not intentionally based on what they're listening and what they're picking up, and then they're gonna pick up probably some trash instead of something that's important. So I started making Lit Learners, so basically making like turned up songs for kids, like the ABC song and Humpty Dumpty, like kind of like off of like how Migos has their beats and stuff, the music that we would listen to, but it's palatable for children and it's actually teaching.
So you like the male Gracie's Corner,
right?
Yeah,
What got you into wanting to teach kids?
Growing up, I was like, I didn't even want to be a teacher.
I think everybody was like,
Because it's like teachers, they work too hard, you feel me? And like they don't get enough appreciation. So I was like, I would never do that. But what made me start was when I was in college, I started working with Big Brothers Big Sisters organization in Camp Odeokwa. It's like a summer camp, like a real, we out there in the woods, like we out there, we building tents, we sleeping in the woods, we building fires, we eating over a fire. We have to be out in the woods. We're not allowed to go back to the cabins today. You feel me? It's a requirement, like a survival camp. And when I was out there, they had a lot of inner city kids that would come in. There was a lot of country kids. And then like I was one of the only black people there. So it's like the inner city kids, they just kind of flocked to me. And we both out there like, oh, it's bugs and stuff. Like, you feel me? It's dirty. Like, you feel me? But then, like, being out there, it made me grow an appreciation for, like, working with the children. And, like, I was teaching them in different aspects. So once I ended up, like, leaving that position and, like, looking for work after college, working in the schools, was that helped me transition there.
So, Chantel, what role do you play in your school?
Right now, I'm a paraprofessional. I have my substitute license on a couple things too. I've been retired for 5 years. I decided to come out of retirement to actually help teach and stuff like that. After college, I went to the military. Okay, and after the military, I became a GM with United Airlines. Okay, but I left the military because I wanted to spend more time with my kids, right? But so you go to something like an airline and you the GM, you get no life. Like, it's worse than the military. Like, you talking about, like, you getting calls from TSA, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, got to come down. You know, you get airport security, like, every single thing, something go wrong with anything, you got to be there. So I was like, man, this is just too much. Let me find something a little chill. Then I went on to be the GM at Chuck E. Cheese. So I had all the stores at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was like, you know what, this is kind of like a bit much, too. But what I learned there, when hiring kids, because you really hire the kids because they don't pay nobody nothing. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna pay nobody, they gonna pay me. You know what I'm saying? My deal with them was I need that same amount of, you know, they asked me how much I was, and I gave them my amount. I gave them the airline amount. And they say, okay, here you go. But they said, we're not gonna be able to hire your staff at a higher rate. I said, okay, that's cool. So I started hiring my friends' kids I knew that would work hard for me, other kids off the street, you know, stuff like that. Then I ended up having shoulder surgery, and I was able to take early retirement. After that, I kept seeing for the past 5 years, I was home. You know, I was still helping. I was coaching at the school at Pickerington or whatever. And I would see kids, they come all the time. Teachers started emailing me. Everybody's emailing me like, you got to come get these kids. You got to come get these kids. Come get these kids. Oh, my God, this kid is doing this kid is doing that. So I'm at the school every day anyway for the kids I coach. I'm like, well, I might as well be here. Like, they're like, what do you have? What license do you have? I'm like, I got this license. Well, what's your degree? I'm like, my degree is in forensic psychology. Well, it has nothing to do with
kids.
Right.
However, the psychology part is everything to do with the kids. So that was how I was able to connect with them through the psychology part, because everything that I learned in psychology really translated to working with all those kids. Because in track, you cannot cut where I'm at. You know, all the teams have cuts. Except for track.
Y'all used to cut? I mean, I ran track. I didn't have to worry about it. But, not for real though.
You cannot cut. You cannot cut in track. So guess what? Guess how many kids we have there?
Almost 100.
Almost 200.
I was like,
almost 200 with 6 coaches.
And you have to do JV and varsity, and some kids and just don't get to run.
We can't even do that. It's junior high.
Oh my God.
It's junior high. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta let them
So you gotta let them, and you gotta think with track.
So y'all the reason why there's 8 heats.
Yeah. You're gonna get all your behavioral kids. Okay. So then working with them, and then the admin, knowing I'm working with them, they're working with me, I'm working with them. They're like, yeah, we gonna go ahead and just hire you on. So then now I'm in the position right now where I'm getting my license for the intervention part to be the actual, to have my own classroom, because right now it's 2 teachers, 2 of us in the classroom. And I'm in the ID room too now. So.
You in the what room?
ID room. So it's like more of your development delays. And
everybody in here is with kids with, I wouldn't say, we're going to say it. It's my podcast show. Disability.
It's okay to use that word.
I still work with kids, and I still as a case manager, but when I first started working, I started working as a well, you call it a paraprofessional, but we call it an instructional assistant.
Sounds so good, a paraprofessional.
Instructional assistant. So, I worked in the ED unit. I call them the bad kids. And that's,
definitely behavioral.
Nah, for real. These behavioral kids, I call them, sixth grade.
Call it like what it is.
Yeah,
That's what they call them.
You hear for this person to my left, I got the honor to working with her for about, I think we did like 4 school years. 4 years. Yeah, 4 school years together. And we used to get them in 6th grade. And these kids, you would look at their file and we'd be like, man, he did this, and this, and this, and this.
Right.
And then we'd be like, oh, he ain't doing that.
Right, this ain't not here,
On
not
the first
today.
day of school, we used to check it like, hey, we done read y'all's files. We know what y'all done did. I want y'all to know anything that y'all think that's going to happen like that, it ain't going to happen in here. So, like, it's funny to me because, I don't really see a lot of, like, it was just only us in our unit, and I think our unit was just so dope, but I don't really see a lot of ED and black teachers like us because I always see teachers like, hey, Martez, please. Please be quiet, Martez. But our unit, hey, Martez, sit down. We ain't got that to do.
Not today.
Not today, Martez.
Yep.
And that's just what it is. So, like, I asked you, Chanel, like, how was it important for you as an ED teacher to, like, build relationships with the students?
I think for me, I felt that was key. Like you said, we came in starting off the door, calling parents on first day. Before we got our roster, like you said, we looked through them on the system to see what their write-ups was. The relationship started off immediately. Let's call their parents before school started. Let's get them in. Let's talk about what's going on, what to expect. Never forget my baby Bree. How her mom came in. We built their relationship, and to this day, we have a student from 6th grade, and she is now a junior in high school. She calls her his dad, and I'm her mom, and we still together because we built that relationship. Her mom will call Mr. Sledge, call Miss C, like them her parents in school. So, and we don't even have her anymore. So when you talk about relationships, how important they are, it goes a long way. And then especially in our community with being black educators and dealing with a lot of black parents, having somebody that looks like you to represent your child, especially when they're dealing with a disability. And a lot of our parents, they don't know or what the rights that they have or what all they can do when they're dealing with children with disabilities, whether it be intellectual, multiple disabilities, or emotional disturbances, I feel like, again, us being black and brown educators and having that relationship is so important to dealing with the population. I feel that is really underrepresented and marginalized because a lot of people understand, like, white children, sometimes it's crazy because they say they use it to their advantage of saying like, oh, well, they want more time on a test or they want to get more time on an assignment and things like that. And our parents sometimes don't even understand the things that they can do, but that relationship, having somebody like us in the building to be like, hey, you need to call them, tell them this, tell them you want this for your kid's IEP, to write this down, this is the type of time you have. It just is so important. So I think, like you said, relationships has brought me this far in my career, like I said, knowing people that I don't know, but being in the same room and educating and saying of like, okay, we have the same problems, the same great accomplishments also, but that relationship was what kept us going. So that is everything, really.
One of my biggest like culture shocks, because when I first started teaching, and I call it teaching, like when they tell you like I was tricked, and that's crazy because like when you said you didn't know,
right?
I had no clue. So I got out of school. I got out of school, and my uncle, who was living with me at the time, was like, "Hey man, you ain't got no job. Just sign up to be a sub."
Right.
He's like, subs get paid, blah blah skip. So I signed up to be the sub. I get a phone call like, hey, Mr. Sledge, we see that you guys, you're a sub. Would you want to be an instructional assistant? I'm like, what is that? And they're like, you're just the extra help in class. Okay, cool. She was like, okay, cool. So she, I did all the things. She hit me back a week later, like, so these are the schools that we have available. One school, I think it was Johnson Park, and I was like, nah, not for my first year.
Yeah. Get my feet wet first.
She was like Johnson Park, Sherwood, Afrocentric, and then it was Afrocentric Middle School, and then she said Linden High School. And I said, well, I don't want to do Linden. I was 25 years old, so I was like, I don't want to do Linden High School. So I said, well, look, what's up with Afrocentric? And she's like, well, Afrocentric is ED. And this is when I found out you got to know your barriers. I mean, MD.
Got to know.
It was MD. You got to know your barriers. I said, well, what's MD? She said, multiple disabilities, the kids. I said, Oh no, I can't. I won't. I just won't be that guy because you gotta be a strong person to do that, especially when you're working in this job. So I was like, well, what is ED? And she was like, well, ED is the kids that just need extra help and they just need a little push.
real
Man,
good.
I could be that strong brother to help these kids get it. No,
The other way around.
my first day, no lie, the kids were fighting and I was just sitting in class like, oh no. First day, we not even at lunchtime yet. These kids just met each other today.
Man.
They're fighting already. A week goes by, I call my mom and say, I can't do this. And she was like, nah, you got a job and you're about to get off my benefits. So,
Oh yeah. Yep.
so you got to figure this out. So come to find out, man, these kids, man, it's just crazy because, they had a white teacher. And then they had us. Then it was me. So then I went from being like talking to nobody into the school, like no teachers and stuff, to one day these kids was just wilding. And I went next door, and this is how I became friends with the next door group. I just went over there like in a friend to like, hey, is this how these kids always act? Miss Carter and Miss Jackson looked at me and said, welcome to ED. Ever since then, after that, it was just take it day by day. Our kids drove the regular teacher so crazy that he had to go to the what's that place? Neck Care. And drove him so crazy because he was going through so much, home wise, bringing it to here, and that's what a lot of people don't really tell you. You can't bring your home life into here because it's rough. It's really rough.
Kids have no filter,
These
don't
kids,
care.
Yeah, these kids don't. So I had to teach these kids for a whole year by myself. I'm teaching these kids. I really don't know math. I know math. I took 2 college courses in math. Then you just man, I'm already here now. Let's just knock this out. And then it's crazy because I was so hard on these kids because I started to treat them like they were mine. And it's crazy because, and that's what I want to ask you guys, at what point did you figure out those kids is y'all's kids?
You spend money on them right now.
I got 3 kids and I'm sitting here buying them all a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
Not this little here's a little thingy, here's y'all little goodie bag, your bag. Here y'all go, here's your bag, here's your bag, here's your bag, here's your bag.
Yeah.
And you start giving them snacks and stuff. I'm like, why am I keeping snacks? I done went to Sam's Club for these kids. I ain't go to Sam's Club for my own kids. Yeah, hold on.
Man.
What's going on?
I know me and Shanera had it where, we made it to where we'll go to 5 and below, and these kids had their own headphones select.
Man, right.
Headphones,
Man.
their own pencils,
Food. Man.
food.
That's like
Stay
the
with the good
normal.
pencils.
Man, we
Stay changing the
bulk
pen.
everything. Takis are in
Man,
bulk.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Man.
I wasn't spending nothing on these kids. I'm just gonna be honest with you. But I definitely, from a disciplinarian standpoint, I knew I have to be as firm and fair with you as possible.
For sure.
Because at that, like you said, at that point, you are my child. From the moment you get off the bus into that classroom until the time you get on that bus to go home, you are in my care.
Right.
You're my child.
Right.
If I'm yelling at you, it's because I actually care about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I love that because, a lot of people don't understand that. And I'm at a school now where, I'm a case manager, so I don't even work for the district no more. And I walk in this school and they're pulling me, and I'm like, lady, I don't even get a check from the district. And they like, well, Mr. Sledge, they'll listen to Mr. Sledge.
Yeah.
So, and then but before, I really didn't understand. People really didn't understand. They used to be like, "You're just so mean." I'm just like, "Nah, this is how you got to talk to these kids, and you ain't got to cuss at them. You ain't got to threaten them. But I have to be stern with you.
Be firm with you.
I got to be
Tough
stern with
love.
you because at the end of the day, I tell the kids all the time, like I tell my regular kids, y'all represent me. I always wanted to ask other teachers, the first thing I ask them, be like, hey man, do you do they call y'all at night? Do they text you?
I have been parents like that now. It's crazy. Spending money is a thing. But I don't look at it like I'm doing it because I have to, but it's because I want to. I feel like God putting me in a position to bless these kids. You know what I mean? This is your purpose and what you to do. And these kids and equality. You know what they're struggling with. We like you said, we know the times we take kids home, buy them shoes because you see how they're coming back and forth without anything. Yesterday, I had one of these my kids. She went to Chuck E. Cheese with me. Everything I do with my child, she usually comes with me. Even I said to our daughter Bree, I just sent her $50 for grades. She had 4.0 and she's doing what she's supposed to do. She's getting her grades together. Honor roll, just getting on stuff together. I can do it right now, so I'm blessed to continue because you're the new generation. I want you to continue these things. But even to say when the parents, I feel like the parents the ones that give you the sign off. Like you said, like when Bree's mom came in there that day and asked, listen, I don't need y'all blowing my phone up. What do y'all need me to sign? Because whatever y'all need to do, you can, because I'm not about to be answering. Y'all can do what y'all need to do because I know she gonna have y'all the blues. But when parents give you that type of comfortability to say, hey, I trust you with my child, this is now your child, I think that's when it's like, all right, I can do like, I don't do like everybody else. Let me get you together.
I think that's the difference between the city and then where I'm at.
Yeah, hold on.
Right,
hold that
right.
thought. Hold that thought. We will be right back. We're going to get to that. We'll be right back. We're going to pay some bills. Don't forget, this is brought to you by 614us. 614us is a nonprofit where we do adult-based planning and have resources for mental health, man. So tap into us on all social media platforms. Now that we're back, got the stuff out the way, I really wanted to ask Chantel a question. So, you're not in the city. You're considered the suburbs.
Quote unquote.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But there's a lot of real city-ish.
It's turning real city-ish. So my question to you is, what's the difference have you seen that you got to go through compared to what you've heard with the people in the city on this podcast?
Baby, them families are not as receptive to brown and black teachers, educators, which means the kids are not as receptive at first. Say like an ID, there's something I had to like kind of just like, they're a little standoffish, they'll go to the other teacher. But then when it comes to the goodies and they see how me and these other ones are, getting along, then they'll start trying to come and be like, oh, I want some. I'm like, oh, but you ain't talk to me all day. You don't get to get this today because you don't talk to me all day. You got to say hello when you walk in here. You speak to everyone. You don't speak to everyone. My jaw club. Then they start like loosening up. Cause I'm like, I got more classes with y'all than I do with some of the other ones. So it was really, that was different. And then the teachers not being as receptive to help as well. It's not many of us in the building. I would say like that. I can probably count on one hand how many of us is in that building. Not even just, we're talking about special education and just teachers in general. It's like a handful, literally. And our school is now overpopulated, overcrowded. As y'all know, we're building another school because we're overcrowded. So, and at the beginning of the next month, I'll be moving from ID to ED because they actually might help more so there than with the ID. Yeah. So because the kids don't act up with me.
We used to call outside of the class the real world, and we take you to the real world, and we'll give them the stern. Hey, don't you act like that? I like this.
Don't embarrass us.
Don't you embarrass us?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And people used to call. I used to have a walk-in. He's like, Mr. Sledge, we need your help. And they got to the point where I started telling people like, hey, bro, I can't keep saving you because you mad because he's having a bad day and you just don't want to deal with him.
Right.
You're gonna have to figure out how to deal with him.
Yeah.
Because or her, especially her. Especially her, because I've had a lot of females and they don't want to deal with them because of their mouths. But my thing is this though, you didn't even say hi to this little girl today.
You sure did.
You didn't say hi. You didn't ask her how she was doing. You didn't say I like her hair. You know how many times this girl done probably got her hair done this year?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're already on her bad side. So I think, and that comes from the other.
Oh, just keep it frank.
Like, right, this is my podcast.
It's a lot of
white people.
Yeah, it's a lot of middle-aged white women who are in education. So then whether it's in the suburbs or even mostly in the city, a lot of these students starting in elementary, their first introduction to a structured school environment is a middle-aged white woman teaching them, teaching them life skills or even some of their unintentional like prejudices too. Yeah. So it's like when you see a bunch of black people as that first like face to teach for some, educators, some white people are looking like, Let
me ask you this: your name is Trek Manifest.
Trek Manifest, I make music as well as teach.
And I'm happy you were saying that.
Yeah, I got you.
So your name is Trek Manifest.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever seen a person like you when you walk in their school?
No, no, absolutely not. Matter of fact, somebody told me I was walking in to my school. They said I looked like I was one of the NBA folks when they doing the film. I'm like, oh, y'all walking with your earphones in? Like, I'm just trying to whoop something, trying to deal with these kids. Like,
so nobody. So even with Steve, because you're with preschool. You're probably the first male preschool teacher even parents have probably ever had.
Yeah, and then people also say, like, you feel me, because I'm a black male teacher, too. When I was working with YMCA, like it was probably like 80 different teachers, and only 2 of us was black men. You feel me? Because it's I guess elementary is majority like a woman predominated field, but. Yeah, I'll be holding it down.
Worked at ED, man. I was coming in. I had, it was a job. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be nice for a job. Khakis and polo, nice shoes. Yeah. After you break up the third or fourth fight, or you're sweating all day because you're putting somebody in a hole because they don't know how to act, them khakis turn into, Nike sweats and them tennis shoes. Them tennis shoes. Don't wear no clean shoes. And I'm wearing t-shirts.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna step in cute every day.
Oh, you are?
I'm stepping in cute every day. I'm coming dressed every day. The teachers be looking at me like, well, where you think you going? Baby, this is how I look. I'm sorry.
Hey, you a good one. I go in suited and booted for war.
Man, okay. But
that's the ED I'll be ready for war too. I'll be ready for war too. I'm gonna put my little lip on, put my little stuff on, and I'm gonna come because you know what? I'm the representation that they need to see.
Yeah.
Because you can come to school like this. You can come when they not allowed PJs. All right, we got a really good principal. Guess what? She a sister.
Yes.
We got a sister principal. This is her second year.
Yeah.
She came from Berwick.
Yeah.
She came from She came from Berwick. Yeah. She is a sister, and she is. When I say she put the clamps down on that school, so I know. I hate to say it, but I know the white teachers don't like it. A lot of them don't like her, and I'm so glad she there.
Yes,
I'm so glad she's there. When I say she has turned that school completely around. You don't see not a single crop top.
Yes.
You don't see not a single spaghetti strap. You don't see no slippers. Don't see no bonnet. You don't see no pajama pants. None of it's allowed.
Yes.
You will go home.
That's good.
You walk in, you will go home. So if she's gonna have it like that, I need to make sure because again we're blending in. As y'all know, Pickerton is turning predominantly black these days. You know what I'm saying? We're all coming in. So I need to give them the same representation. Like you can still wear your street clothes and make it look nice. Right. So I'm gonna come in like that.
I respect that because it takes a strong person like you, to do that. But, for real, I do. But for me, I remember one day I deal with disciplined kids, and one of the kids got mad. And this is my first year. Like they don't give. By the way, they don't give you no training.
No, they don't.
How to handle kids. They just throw you into the fire.
They don't give you no training this way neither. Not right away. They don't give you no training this way neither.
Oh yeah, they just throw you into the fire.
That's across the board.
They just throw you into the fire, and I think that we just need more trainings because I remember, it was like it was around almost Thanksgiving, and one of my and it's crazy because it was Noah, and he's he'll take bullets for me now. Right. But like our first interactions, because he just didn't like men. So our first interactions were just terrible interactions. Mm-hmm. So I remember one time he was just like, man, Mr. Sled, shut up talking to me.
Right. They talk to you just like that.
And I looked at him, and I'm 33 now. When I started, I was 26.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh out of college. Mm-hmm. So telling me to shut up is automatic. Hey, bro, this not what you want. So this dude was like, man, if you don't shut up, man, I'm going to take your keys and I'm going to flush them down the toilet. You try to be tough with the kids. But you try to still let them know, like, hey, bro, don't let the teacher stuff fool you. Mm-hmm. Man, he took them keys and flushed them down that toilet. I ain't never been so defeated. Then he turned flushed my keys down. I'm talking about my car keys, my house keys, the keys to my room. So thank God I had extras, but I'm already hot today. And I wore nice clothes. So this is when I stopped wearing nice clothes. After lunchtime comes, Noah has another problem. So in ED, if your kid runs outside, I have to go get him.
Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm.
So Noah goes and gets him. He runs outside. He's running. I'm running through mud. It's raining. Trying to get him. And he's only across the street. Man. He goes and slides in between the gate of the apartments across the street.
Oh, my God.
He yelling at me like, ha, ha, ha. That day, I just was like, hey, you know what?
That's it, man.
I became like, Sister Mary Clarence came in and scratched the whole board. Yeah, it's about to be one of those moments. The relationship that we built, man, if there was a bear outside and I say, hey, man, the bear messing with me, no, well, and that's just what it is because at the end of it just takes it took me to go back and forth with him to gain that relationship. And some people just cling. I don't know about you guys, but I know some kids off rip, they be like, oh, a black guy or a black person.
This is the
I'm about to
first.
just cling with you.
It don't even gotta be your kids. It be the normal kids, the other kids, the disability kids, all the kids, the 1 kids, 2 kids, 3 kids, they all coming.
I want to talk about when I got to the school that I'm at now. When I first got there, it wasn't really like even though I was black, it didn't matter. Like my first couple minutes there, I was mentioning it before, and it's like it's 8:00. They come in, it's 8:01. I let them get settled. I walk in, it's 8:02. It's like, what's good, y'all? I'm Mr. Steve. I'm your teacher. This girl gonna come up, and she started trying to twerk up in front of me. She 12, 13. I'm like, get away from me. Don't sit down. And then she started cussing me out after that. And I walked outside the classroom. It was like, Jesus. I looked at my phone. It was like, it's 8:02. I get off at 2:45. I've had a lot of blow up moments with the students. But those blow up moments are those are the students that I had the strongest relationship with. Yeah. Because like even like you mentioned the training, there's trainings, but there's some that are really ineffective. Like you feel me? Like our protocol at our school, if they have an IEP or if they have like, you feel me, behavioral problems, we're supposed to do this is like address the behavior, wait 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Address the behavior twice, wait 5 minutes. Address the behavior
so
3 times.
So flip the tables over, you gotta
wait 5 minutes. Yeah. And then after that 20-minute mark, you can call the administration.
20 minutes?
And then after 5 minutes with the administration there, if there's still being a problem, then they remove every other student from the classroom, displace them. We gotta go somewhere to be safe because this person's pretty much doing it for attention in the audience. So it's like you're shifting all the power into those students' hands. And some of them are smart. Like the situation that happened with me in was because this girl, she came in, she couldn't get breakfast. And I'm figuring out she did all that because she couldn't get breakfast. They eating lunch in like 15 minutes. You can't always be soft with them all the time to build the relationship. Some of them are going to just naturally be drawn to you, but some of them, that respect has to be really like commanded for real.
So when they find your social media,
my goodness,
what do you do?
Mine is more so like mine is private for me because, like I said, depending on who the student, of course, it is private. I don't put anything out that I don't want them to see, but it's interesting. Like I said, when he was talking about like the whole behavior aspect, and I just want to piggyback off that because my background is a behavior specialist with the district. And right now I'm in the classroom. I was, like you said, I've been an ED teacher. I've always done emotional disturbance, working with kids with behaviors. But I was promoted like 4 years ago to be a district behavior specialist. And even with that, when you're talking about behaviors, I'm the only Black behavior specialist there is in the whole district. And we're talking about a district that mainly deals with behaviors. Like you said, the trainings and the things they're teaching teachers to deal with is not, like we said, real life things. But like I said, talking about even bouncing back to, like I said, the social media part, my kids I do that graduate, it's interesting because I've been teaching long enough to have students that have students and kids that have kids, and seeing them go through college. And it's just like being able to keep up with them, watching my students have babies and, I have students that have babies now, students that are in college. Like, it's just super dope, you know what I mean? Like, because we can stay in contact. And even I have a kid now who is being charged with murder, being able to be that blessing. His mom found me through social media, like, hey, this is going on. And I had him maybe over 10 years ago, just using that social media platform to be able to put the information out that's going on with him and his family. But social media definitely has kept me in contact. I think about being a teacher when, you respond and look for your teachers from back in the day and think about like, I'm the teacher and think about who my teachers were and the things they did, and just being able to say, I hope that I can have that relationship to be like 20 years down the line, you can find me on Facebook and like, that was my favorite teacher. She was lit.
But this is the thing with mine though. Mine's kind of a little bit, because my page is open. I have a whole lot of followers because, I've been getting paid for social media for a few years now. So I had made these TikToks, these random TikToks, right? This at the beginning of the school year. Every kid has found me in the building, not just my kids. Every kid in that building has found me, has followed me. I'm like, I can't follow y'all back, bro. Like, I can't. Follow me back. I'm like, bro, I can't follow you back. But guess what? So the teachers realized they found me. So some of the teachers, like I told you, they little haters and stuff like that. They go and tell. They don't tell the principal. They tell the district.
They went above.
So look, they went above. So I get pulled into the office a couple times at the beginning of the school year about the thing. I said, can you tell me what's wrong with it? They like, you posted it during school hours. I said, let me show you something. Hold on, let me show you something. I showed up on the thing. You see where it says timer and you can set the timer for when you wanted to post?
Yes.
Hello.
They really was on there like
so
that.
what I did, I started deleting certain teachers one by one to see who it was. And I ended up, I've never been told on again.
That's crazy.
So I knew who it was.
They was hating.
Yeah, they was hating because then the kids would be like, after school or something like that, or before like the practice or whatever, they'd be like, I'm on a couple different boards too, and then I coach, say a couple different things or whatever. They'd be like, you make TikToks with me, or whatever. At first, I would only make the TikToks with the high schoolers because I go down to the high school to help too. And I would only make, videos with the TikToks with them. But then the middle schoolers like, okay, well, it's after school. Can we make one now? Can we make one now? I'm like, okay. And then a couple of them went viral. You know what I'm saying? So they was all happy. The parents was happy. Parents were posting it. And I could just see when the teachers show up the next day, they like, on the TikTok. And the kids would be like walking by, hi, Mrs. Spencer. I saw your TikTok page. I saw your TikTok page. I like it. Can you do one with me? And all the teachers in the hallway like.
So bitter. And
I'm like, you could have just joined. So some of them came to me and was like, you got to start putting me in your stuff. You can always come down to the 300s. I'm in the 100s. They, you always come down to the 300s and do, we love stuff like this. So I was like, okay, bet. So, when the Buckeyes went, we had some of the boys from Pickerington, saying they,
I was like,
they made
recently.
it. Yeah.
Right,
recently.
right,
So
right.
you know what I did? I went to the principal. I put him on the video. Hey, I just need you to say, I say OH, you say IO.
Right.
I went to the principal. I went to the admin. I went to everybody, some of the other regular teachers and everything. Got them all and made a TikTok.
Everybody
Boom,
happy.
posted it. Because this is the thing. It was the same principal that he didn't want to really give it to me, but it was the same one that made me sign the little thing for social media. But now he on the social media. Then I sent it to the district, and the district put it on their district page. Boom, ultimate kill.
Ooh, after they sat you down.
After they sat me
now
down. Ultimate kill, thank you. Because you got to meet the kids where they're at.
Yeah.
They like TikTok. I like to dance. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy to me? I walked into school one day. I was gone for about I went on vacation. I was gone. And I come back, and kids would just start. I used to do music before I did all this.
Woo.
And the kids just start rapping lyrics, and I'm just like, man, these lyrics sound familiar.
Hey, go ahead.
So days go by.
They do that. They'll find you on social media. Or I know I had I was in the paper for some music that I had done, and it was in the dispatch. So now the librarian has my whole thing on the board. So now I have some kids coming up to me, calling me by my government.
Oh, that's the worst.
Don't
play with me.
That's great. But it's Mr. Thomas right here.
Right,
bro.
right.
And then it was even more crazier. Not only when they find you on social media, it's when you just see it randomly out. And
like you a human?
Store or something. And when I go to the store, I don't want to talk to nobody.
No kids.
Nobody.
No kids.
I'm gonna go down this aisle and don't see you.
It's to the point when I go out and I see kids and they see me, I be like, hey, let's act like we don't know each other. And then the parents, because they're being good parents, they be like, who is that?
Right.
And then it's also, you're probably being a good parent, but you should already know who I am because.
Right.
Right.
So I be like, I work in the school. They be like, oh, okay, I thought you was. No, you didn't. You didn't
know me.
No, you don't. It's okay. But them kids, most kids, when I first started, bro, don't talk to me. Yesterday, I went to a game and the kid was like, oh, what's up, Mr. Sledge? I was at a basketball game. He's like, oh, what's up, Mr. Sledge? Hey, man, I'm with my family.
Right. We did this from 9 to 5.
I'm with my family.
See, I never can get away with that.
Like, what's up, man? He like, man, how's everything going? Hey, man.
Remember they kept asking about your music video because when we was in class and you had a duet part with some female. Oh my gosh.
So these kids found so I got 7 music videos. I really wanted to be a rapper growing up.
Right.
And, they found the one. So they found all the positive music videos. Nah, we don't want to watch them. The ones where, I'm singing, it's like
love song.
It was like a love song to a girl. They found that. And it wasn't nothing. Maybe we just in the park walking around holding hands. They're like, dang, Mr. Sledge, you a sucker for love.
Everything in there.
You a sucker for love. Noah, you a sucker for love. So then what happens is, but these kids, bro, you know, and we're going to talk about this here soon, but these kids can't read or write, but boy, can they surf the internet. Boy, can they find, man, I'm talking about, so I had a video and had a gun in it, but the gun was to resemble something, like, it wasn't no hood stuff, it just resembled the stuff. They're like, oh, Mr. Sled, I see you with the Glock.
Man, got your strap on you, Mr. Sled.
First of all, you're loud. First of all, you're loud. Second of all, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
I don't even know what you're talking about. So, like, when I ask y'all about social media, you know, because I got a kid named Paul, man. I used to work at Reynoldsburg as well, too. So, like, when you say night and day, it's night and day. I was texting Shanera, because, you know, we have our little group chat. And I was texting Shanera, like, they got lights in this school. Girl, it's bright in here.
I can see stuff.
They got stuff on walls.
Yeah.
They got art projects and Black History people on walls.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in the city, we really can't do that. You know, we used to decorate our walls, and they used to tear stuff down. Like our doors.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like our door. I used to have signs on our doors because our kids was so, and it was crazy because our kids were they were bad, and they were. But by the time they left us, they had some type of common sense.
Right.
And that's just what it is.
Supposed to be.
6th grade. Because by 8th grade, our goal was we don't even want to see you probably until like study hall or something like that.
Right.
So, you know, we had I used to have something on my door, like on barbershop, like no mischief before 9 or something like that.
Don't bang on my door like you got some
the kids
sense.
used to knock, like I worked at Yorktown Middle School, so these kids, all of them didn't have no sense. So they'll knock on your door and run. Knock on my door like you got some sense. We used to, you know, she'll be teaching. And it'll be like a class change because in ED you don't leave class.
Right.
You're with me for the whole day, but
Right.
So she'll be teaching. She'll be like, hold on real quick. And she'll go out like, hey, stop running up the hall.
Man,
Like, kids
it's
be
so
stopping in
loud.
their tracks. Kids be stopping in their tracks. But these kids listen to us.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, like, you know, they seen us in papers before. They seen us in music videos. The worst one is this. I don't know if you guys had this one. Hey, my mom seen you at the club last
Oh my
night.
gosh, I seen you out when you
See,
was
when we
out.
see each other out all the time, because our community is, everything is in our community. I don't like to go off 256. I like to do everything right there. Food, bar, everything is right there. So I don't feel like going. Now, back in the day, I would. But now I'm older and stuff like that, man. And my oldest graduated already. I'd be like, I ain't trying to move back. I don't want to even go to the bridge to cross the Reynoldsburg. I don't even want to go that
So you
far.
don't even go past
Not even
Walmart.
I don't even go past Walmart.
Hey, we're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by 614us. Follow 614us on all social media platforms. 614us is just a nonprofit that focuses on health-centered events, and we also like giving out resources for mental health, man. Come see us. We got a lot of things to do for the family. Shout out to Jersey Mike's, man. Without him, I couldn't have this fresh jersey. Any jersey that you want, he can get it. All he just needs is the picture, front and back. Jersey Mike, holler at him. What's good, everybody? This is 614us. We are back with this one for us podcast. Real quick. Everybody got children, right?
Yes.
Okay. You can sit this. You can sit this one out. But which one? Like, do y'all's children go to the same school that you teach in? The district wise.
Yes. Mine do.
2-part answer.
So okay,
Mine's
hold on.
do
We're gonna start. We're gonna go from here and go around. So your child, you teach in Columbus City,
Correct.
and your children go where?
Gehanna.
Oh,
Went from they went from Canal, and then when we moved into Gehanna, just
okay.
moved right into there.
No
Nah.
CCS.
Respect. Okay.
Currently, yes, my daughter goes to Columbus City Public School, Stewart Elementary. But then I have my twins, they are at the Catholic school. Other family members are at another school, Bright Girls School in Bexley.
My kids do attend Pickerington local district schools,
Okay.
and that is very interesting.
I got 5 kids, so my 2 oldest girls, they go to the Columbus City Preparatory School for Girls, and then my twins, they go to Southwestern City Schools, and then my other one, she just in preschool. She be all right. Why do you guys want to put your kid in or not in that district?
Be honest.
I don't know. Honestly, like, to be honest, it was just more so a moving thing. I think it happened at the right time that I had kids, while working in the district, because as a parent, like, you want to know everything. You want to know what the curriculum is. You want to know if your child's going to be safe in that environment. You want to know, and it doesn't matter what school it is. I know I am a byproduct of Columbus City schools. So I know what school I want my child to go to, where I wouldn't want them to go to. The only problem is it's a lottery. It's a lottery. You can't, you know, the picking and choosing. It's kind of hard. So, being where I'm at, my children, you know, they were blessed to be in, you know, area that we're at now, to where, you know, they're going to get that education. And that's not to say that they can't get an education in the district that I work in. There's just certain districts that across the board, they know what they're expected to do and they work towards that. I can't say, you know, this elementary school in Columbus City is perfect, while this one in on this side of town, I don't know. Like, I need to feel the consistency all the way around across the board. And that's a little tough to do in a district as big as, you know, Columbus City. So, you know, being where my sons were, you know, they were originally in Canal. I was able to keep my eyes more glued to them. Like, all right, this is what you're doing in here. Okay, cool. And it comes with a sense of accountability too. So, you know, I can't sit there and say, even if my kids were in Columbus City School, I would still be keeping that same energy. Who is this? What are you doing? X, Y, and Z. But
I'll stay on Infinite Campus.
So, hold up on my
Power
screen.
School. Hey, I'll text my daughter like, hey, what is this? She be like, I'm about to get it changed.
Okay, I'm about to get it changed.
You can't use that on me
At all.
I know them guys.
But I think, and I can probably speak for all of us, the parents on here, like, being in, regardless of what district your child is in, like, you're fully aware of what you expect from whoever is teaching your child. So you're going to put the work and the energy into making sure, all right, if that's not right, I already know my rights because I got the credentials. So I'm checking to see, making sure you're cool. Like, for the longest, I didn't even tell any of the teachers that my children had. They did not know I was a teacher. And I did that intentionally just to kind of, you know, see if you was about to, like, okay, you doing your work, you doing, you know, the things that are expected. So I don't know, man. It just really would depend on the school, to be honest with you. But
And I'm different. And I'm saying for me, it's a 50-50 split. Like you said, being an educator, a Columbus City School graduate, EA. So, but just the thing for me was being an ED teacher and seeing the behaviors that we deal with and the teachers, how they deal with behaviors was a thing for me. I put my daughter in a lottery school or homeschool. I am a South Side product of the South Side.
As am I.
You know, so knowing, you know, so it's like, you know, I understand what I'm working with, not saying that it can't be, but I'm a realist about what's going on and where I'm at. So my daughter currently is at Stewart Elementary School. It's a lottery school and I love it. Her principal is amazing, Mr. Davis. Shout out to him. Just the community feeling of what he does with the children and how he engages. And every day I take it year by year with her because I do have that complex in my mind to say, like, do I need to send her, put her in the Ed Choice program to put her into a better school? Like I said, with the twins, they started off, they've been to KIPP, they've been to a couple different schools. And then even, like I said, there's some pros and cons with them being in a Catholic school now. But even, like I said, my niece, she's at the CSG. She started off in Columbus City Schools. But I honestly feel truly in my heart, elementary is a little bit more wiggle room when you're talking about choosing schools. But when you're starting to get into middle school and high school, that's when it's like, oh, I got to start looking a little bit more critical at the school that the kids are going to. So I do feel, if I don't feel like, you know, like you said, the Eastmore, the Causes, the Fort Hayes, the downtown high schools, they do have great schools. But when you look at the world and the competition you have, there's a lot of accountability on us as parents, but then also realizing like there are kids and teachers that have to deal with kids that have behaviors and they can't really be the great teachers that they probably could be. So what's best for my child may not be best for someone else's. So that is where we got with it.
Your kids go to Pickerington, correct?
Yes.
So how they always went to Pickerington?
So I grew up in Bexley.
Okay.
Yes, I grew up in Bexley. My parents split. We ended up moving to the city. Completely different. My mom was like, Dad, all right, so I'm going to put you in, you know what I'm saying, put you in this private school. So she put me in private school. And I was like, all right, look, we about to get to high school. Hey, I got to go over here. I want to go to the Haven because they hooper. They got hoopers, right? I went to hoop. I love hooping. I'm good. I was like, boom, boom, boom. So I went to the Haven. Man, my mom saw how I was acting and put my sister right across the street at the sales. So, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I was a soccer player, really, right?
Right.
I hooped and I did everything else. I ran track, played softball and stuff like that. But soccer was really my thing. Like, it's like my thing. Traveled everywhere for it. Been on all kind of different teams, everything. Set records. Now, Brookhaven didn't have no girls soccer team.
Oh.
So I tried out for the boys soccer team. Made the boys soccer team. Was MVP every year, breaking records. First person to leave out of Brookhaven on the soccer scholarship. So it was wild. Then after I went to college, I was like, you know what? I'm a little bored. It sounds bad. You know what I mean? So I joined the military.
I mean, at least when you was bored, you went to the military.
You know what I'm saying? But I kind of always had a thing for the military. I don't know what it was. I always had a thing for like militant stuff. Like I come from a militant family. Like they just real, like everybody strong minded. Like a lot of them, you know, with Panthers and everything else too. So I come from like a real strong minded type family. So I was like, okay, let me go this. That way they can pay for anything else. I can get my master's on the military. I can get everything else. I can get taken care of for the rest of my life on the military. I'm retired as and that. Like I'm still getting paid on the military. So I don't technically have to work. I choose to work. So like when they so if somebody get on my nerves and I be like, okay, I'll lose my job tomorrow. I'm cool with that. So I'm cool with that because I tell them in a minute. I go home. I don't. Y'all need me.
Right.
I don't need you. That's the mentality.
I'm employable though.
Man.
Yeah, so I go boom. And I can go home because I actually make more money at home than what I'm making here. Yeah, so I wasn't always. So when we moved back from Florida or whatever, we came here because I was like, my dad wanted to be close to the grandkids and everything else like that. I'm like, we got to find a house. First, we found a house in Canal, and I was like, ooh, it's Canal, but it was Columbus City Schools. So when we first got here, my kids did have to attend city school. And it's funny you said Yorktown because my oldest went to Yorktown.
You got to go to Yorktown if you live in Canal.
Yeah,
Right.
So my kid went to Yorktown. And I was like,
borderline.
yeah, she went to Yorktown. I was like, yeah, no. We moved. She was there for a quarter, and we ended up moving to Pickerington, and then that's when I did the retirement thing and all that stuff. She graduated. Now she's in the military though too. So she's in the military. Getting her benefits. She told me school went for her right now. I'm cool with that as long as you got a plan.
Okay.
But the middle baby, she's now in 9th grade. My son's in 4th grade. They all 5 years per in between. But another reason why I actually did go to the school system and stuff like that where they're at is because I am super hands-on. I saw how some of them teachers talk to them kids and stuff like that. I don't like it. So I'm there. So they know I'm coming. So one thing they don't do, they don't play with my kids.
Right.
So they don't play with my kids at all. They know me and they know me well. So when I did get hired on, they were like, oh, they were telling my kids before I told my kids. I see your mom is about to da-da-da-da-da. And they were like, oh, okay. Okay. So they'll email me or call me and be like, hey, I just wanted to make sure this was okay and this and that. They didn't do that with my oldest one because I was at home.
Right.
They treat the other two a little different.
They know you on site.
I'm on site. And I pull up quick.
I'll leave my job. I gotta go.
I've done that.
I gotta go check on my kids.
I've done that.
I've done that. She'll tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't walk. Hey, I'll be right back.
Definitely.
That's it.
Because ain't nobody going like for real. Y'all, how y'all expect me to take care of these people's kids if my kids is acting a fool? That's a hypocrite. Yeah. And one thing you're not going to do is embarrass me and make me a hypocrite.
Exactly. Yeah. I done pulled up to my son's class several times. It's funny. You know what's even funnier? This is how small it is. What's funnier is the teacher I'm teaching with in the class. My son has her teacher, has her sister for his teacher in 4th grade.
Wow.
That's
the family.
Yeah, no. I don't like that.
Because they tell you everything.
No, they tell each other everything. And we don't necessarily
bond well.
There you go.
Communicate about, well, her son used to be, and
Yeah, because one day she was like, I said something. I was like, well, I'm about to leave early because I got to go check on my son, sit in the classroom. And then she was like, oh, yeah. She told me. I was like, well, what's she doing mentioning that to you? So now I got a problem with her. So then we got a problem. I had to go solve that.
No, that's right, Mama Bear.
Close your mouth.
Them babies.
We're going to take our last break and we'll be right back. This is This One For Us podcast, sponsored by 6is1ne4orUs. Hey, listen, if you're looking to, like, dang, this is a nice jersey, this nice little Malik Pistons, because we back this year. Type in with Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's can get you any jersey you want. All he needs is the picture of the front and the back. Jersey Mike's. Look them up. So as we wrap this up real quick, let me ask y'all one more question. What do you guys want to see more in your district?
I want the parents more involved inside of the education, but like at our school, we have a whole thing, I guess, since COVID time, like where parents aren't allowed to come into the classroom and stuff. And I feel like that kind of separates the relationship that they have with the school and the teacher to be able to even understand where they're taking their child, what the environment's like. I think that's something that I think we should build back into it, like having more parent teacher conferences instead of having like a phone call or a Zoom meeting, so they can come in and see the work.
So real quick, Steve, man, where can they find you at?
At Stunt and Steve on everything, and for the children's music, it's Lit Learners on YouTube, LIT Learners. Y'all can spell, you feel me, if you're watching it.
I would really like to see more parent volunteers. If you have an issue with something in your school, we have a thing called, like, I think it's called Power Patrol or something like that, where the parents can actually volunteer. Like, they can sign up and be a volunteer at the school and come in.
Oh, really?
Yes, they can come in because you gotta get certified. All you do is that background check, stuff like that. But they come in, they volunteer throughout the week and stuff like that. And I would let us see more parents on that list because right now it's an epidemic everywhere where parents just don't volunteer for anything anymore. They don't volunteer for nothing, not for sports, not for nothing. They ain't volunteering for nothing. And I would love to see more parent volunteers.
Like your content and things like that. If they want to see your coaching, where can they find you at?
Because your kids already found me. But your kids already found me. You can find me on TikTok at Lolita's Artistry. You can also find me on Instagram at just_Telly. You can find me on Facebook, Chantel Spencer. You can find me on another Instagram at Lolita's Artistry, or you can go to our, I have a team Instagram. It's Pick RJHS and it's track. So Pick RJS track.
I think what I would want from parents, I think, and this is just me from a middle school standpoint, is accountability. I think the accountability piece, I think if we are honest with our parents about where they are, like we talk about like reading level, like having 8th grade students on 3rd grade reading levels, or, you know, when we have to discipline children and verifying like, hey, well, they excuse why it was okay for a kid to cuss a teacher out, you know, just say that again, accountability of, hey, this is not okay. These are things I expect. Again, I always say stay in the kid's place and then disciplining, you know, like the thing is, it's weird when I have to tell parents, how about we take the phone away? Or do you want me to come get the phone? Or I could come get the game if you need me to. Like, it's like the parents are sort of afraid or timid of the children. They don't want to deal with the backlash of their child. So I think just for me, it's just accountability and standing up to your child when they're wrong. The teacher may be wrong, and that's understandable, but you don't argue with an adult. You know, you find another adult you feel trustworthy enough to be able to have that conversation with another adult, or notify your parents so they can have that conversation with the adult. So, just again, that accountability piece for me.
Well, first and foremost, I think I speak for all of us. Thank the parents for even entrusting us with your children. First and foremost, that takes a lot. Some of us being parents, you know, entrusting you, any teacher, anybody in that care is very important. And that's something that I will always appreciate. That being said, my biggest thing is meeting us halfway. You know, a lot of teachers I know are working hard. They're doing everything they can to provide, and it doesn't matter what district. Yeah, they're working hard to, you know what I'm saying, create things so that your child can achieve. You know, I tell people all the time, there's a big difference between teaching somebody and educating them. You know what I'm saying? You're teaching somebody is just for that short term. You know, 2 + 2 is 4. Why? Because it is. Whereas if I'm educating you on it, 2 + 2 is 4, because if I have 2 things over here and I have 2 things over here, it's more of just a long-term thing to get you going by. And there are many teachers who are educating. So just meet us halfway. And you guys pretty much kind of said everything with those things, from, you know, the involvement, you know, to being accountable. You know, I'm not going to teach you how to be a parent, so don't teach me how to be a teacher. I got this. I'm here for your child. I'm here for them. Every day, the time that I clock in to the time I clock out. And quite honestly, even when I'm clocking out, I'm probably thinking about what do I need to do to make sure they're doing better. Just meet us halfway, man. So you can find me I'm on all social media platforms. It's Trek Manifest. Also, trekmanifest.com.
I am Riley's mommy on Instagram, RHYLEE, and then mommy, MOMMIE. That's simple.
I just want to see us be more realistic, even with the kind of ability. I'm real big on public schools. And I honestly think if a lot of us did not go out because what's going on in there presently, only change we can make is if we all stick together. So I really think that if we all stuck together as a culture, a community, and I'm talking about Black people, I think our public school system would thrive.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I've been to a board meeting. There ain't a lot of us that look like that. It's a lot of people that don't want to vote on property tax. Or, I mean, not the property tax. They don't want to vote on the levy. And their kids probably graduated 15, 20 years ago.
Okay. They need more money.
They need more money. So I think if we just stick together, because at the end of the day, you know, our kids are our future. If we all stick there and if we demand change, we will get change. So that's what I really want to see. With that being said, parents, you know, trust us like Trek said. Give us some grace also because we're humans. And also, listen, and I can speak for all of them. If you think you can do better,
we love to have you.
Please.
Come
If you think you can do better,
Come on.
You know, I had
We're
a
always
parent
hiring.
man.
Trust me.
We're always
We're
hiring.
always
Listen,
hiring.
trust me.
Teacher
And
shortage
it might
right
not
now.
be what you
Huge
want, but your
shortage.
benefits is going to be good, though. You know, there's a teacher like, bro, you know, I tell people, the parent was like, it's y'all's fault. I'll be like, well, you know what? He got to come back. So don't keep on being our fault because it's hard to get y'all out. So, you know, just give us some grace. And, you know, if you think you can do better, like you said, man, it's a shortage, bro. We need more of you. And if you think you are positive, like you could make a positive change, man, come on out and help. We ain't about to tell you no.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Love it.
Open arms, baby. Come on.
This ain't about to tell you no. But listen, this is This One For Us podcast. I want to thank you guys for coming out,
Thank
man.
you. It's been
I appreciate
awesome.
you guys. I
Thank you.
appreciate what you do. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Ron. Shout out to Noah, Bay, Brandy, and, you know, Nicole, because
Yes.
Nicole keeping all this running.
Yeah.